Hello, welcome back to my e-portfolio. Today we're going to be talking about how I support students to be successful in my class. This is the last section of the e-portfolio, so let's see how we're going to go. I'm going to go into one of my Management 291 class and my marketing class. And I usually do it in all the classes, but I use this just give you a little variety. So I'm not always just in the finance class. So I already have this set here. If you look at my Management 291 class, this is done in the spring. I have the students' current grade, the Blackboard Collaborate meeting. I'll click on this one here real quickly. And what I have in here, I think I already did this. Hang on a second. And I got some links and I got recordings. And I got to filter this. Hang on a second. All right, I did the filtering for you. I didn't have it on there. If you notice, I just started using Blackboard Collaborate. Harper College and the other college I teach at are basically utilizing this format. I'm still working with it, but I'll just let you go. I have a quick overview. I do a second water cooler within the class so they could discuss. This class here is fully online, so this is one way. Let's look at my quick overview. Watch now, and I provide a couple links for you on there so you could look at that. Takes a little while loading, and I'm learning this. So there we go. Let me go. There it is, my smiley
All right,
face.
we're back. Welcome back again. We're in week 7 and 8. This may be the last transmission you get to talk to me. So let's see what we have for this week. This week, the discussion is going to be a little different. We'll be working on our final strategic analysis report and talk a little bit about your PowerPoint, what's required, and on here. So again, I'm utilizing Blackboard Collaborate.
I'll just move along
This
here.
one also, you'll click on here what's required.
This is just explaining how I support the students so they're
You
successful.
open up a Microsoft Word. I'm sharing. Okay, you go in here. Oops, here it is. That's the other one I'm looking at here.
It's taking me a little while.
Discussion board, focus on strategic analysis. Okay, here we go. So here's the paper. Let me put it in full view.
Not doing too good, but it's fine. Just come up.
Is it basically APA form?
There it is. Remember, I utilize concept map. So this is a concept map for the paper. It gives them everything that's required. They have to do the 7.
Matrix. So this is an 8-week, 16-week course combined into 7.5 weeks, for lack of better words. No final.
Okay.
And you can make some comments. I'll throw that in to get you the points.
You got a resource guide. I give them all the information support, so they're good on this. Okay, so I'll turn that off. Are we okay? So that's all you have. Now, the other thing I want you to do, I also have, if you look at here, weekly overview, weekly discussions. Again, we discuss my discussions. I respond to all the students. This is what the homework is required. I give them links. I give them all the support they need to be effective, and the rubrics are included on that. The other one, they get the chapter PowerPoints from even for the publisher. This is a publisher's PowerPoint, so they could either print them out or copy them. What I wanted to look at is my lab, or my business lab, is another software that helps the students learn the material. They have short videos. They could do exams, practice exams. Everything comes in with the package, and they could either, on this class, they have the option of buying a hard book or the copy that you put together, or they have the option of purchasing just an ebook, but they have access to the software, and it's like $100 or so. Good price. A lot of students on online enjoy this because it gives them more flexibility. They do the quizzes and everything else. Okay, they have the weekly journals, articles I mentioned before. They have the articles, and that's even here in the articles. They do a written assignment in the article. They give me 2 pages. Present an article and find a topic, but they also present that article within the discussion board. So they'll have different articles, and people are supposed to respond to it. That's how I learn, taking what you're learning now and expanding that further on. Okay, they got study aids. Now, what they have in here is YouTube lectures. Now, these are full lectures that I have, chapter lectures by Dr. George, the 16th edition. I have to redo all of them. And if you see, you have all my lectures in here. So if I'm looking at this one here, let me just, this is a YouTube lecture. You'll come in here, and I click on here. Again, if you die,
welcome back.
I'm back again.
The the strategic management course, you're taking me online, face to face.
Okay.
Quick overview in formulating strategy, and here's the 10 forces, economic. Okay.
Okay, now
People say, well,
what
US is
happens
pulling out.
here is basically they get the concept map. They get it to the second tier. The second tier, since I'm online, the second tier is basically what happens is that they have to add in. So they'll get this and this, and they'll have like a plus, like you notice here, the plus. They won't have all the information. They may have this one in here, but they have to write it in. That's another way of them utilizing all their senses. I think research, and I had some research, some workshops here at Harper and other school, that basically says that not the typing, but if the student writes it in, he has a higher probability of retaining that information. So that's a support that I make it. I don't give him the whole concept map, just portions of it. Now on the paper, there's the full concept map. Or when they go into some areas like in the finance, it's very complicated. I give them all that. So they have the headers, they have the information. I basically take 50 PowerPoint and condense it into 2 sheets, front and back, and make it a little larger for them, just so you understand, okay? Now, when I'm in this thing in here, let me go back in here. I think I got the thing in here. Let me see this somehow. Okay, close that back. Hang on a second. Okay. Sorry for the little glitch. I pause it to make sure so you don't have to wait. Trying to be a little more effective. They also have, so you have all my lectures are in there, completely the whole chapter, so students utilize that. So sometimes other instructors utilize these chapters if they can't get a note taker. I record them for my fully online class, but when I teach it to face-to-face or blended or adult fast track or apprenticeship program, they are available to them. I already created them. Some other instructors have access to these, so they could, if they cannot find a note taker for someone who has needs I'm stuck. Accountability or accessibility, because of issues. They basically, I got a little mind freeze there. They could basically have the full lecture, and they utilize this for accommodation. That's what I was trying to think. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes once the word gets mixed up in my mind, I gotta realign it again. And I tell students I am dyslexic. And the reason I tell them so they understand, hey, that's the silent handicap, for lack of better words. You have to learn how to overcome it. In business, they don't give you any breaks in that. You just have to do well. And so I know when I get mixed up like this, I basically reinforce. That's another way of supporting students who do have, English second language for me and this other stuff. So it helps students say, hey, this person is real. A lot of students will say, well, Dr. George, you're a real person. What do you mean a real person? The other one's a strict to the book. I try to bring real life examples. I try to say, here's what you need. Here's how you overcome issues. That's the support I give to the students in the face-to-face or when I work with teams. Now, my concept maps, again, they're in a PDF file, and I'll show you how they work. Students' maps, okay? So you look at them, they have all the concept maps. Let's see, we're doing this one. So if you look at the concept maps, here's what they see. Anytime you have this extra plus, that means there's more information. That information is in my recorded lecture. So they have the general idea of everything in this chapter here. Strategy is 2 pages, prints out, they could print it out, PDF file, and whenever they have this, they look at my recording and they could stop me. I always tell them they could turn me off. When I say turn me off, it means turn the volume off, and students could look at that in their own time. If they're not sure, they could go back. A lot of students tell me, Dr. George, you talk normally. Usually I'm a very hyper person. That's just my personality. I'm excited about my subject area. So I tell them, they says, you talk normal on your recording. My recordings are usually done late at night when I'm tired, so I'm at the regular speed like everyone else is. They could stop me. They could go backward. Some students use it. The publisher has their video. This is another supplement. Some like them, some don't, but they're available not only for my class, but other instructors utilize them if they can't get a note taker for a student who has accommodation. It's one way of helping students. Another support to the students, okay? So you've got the concept maps, final page, orientation information. Now, on my online class, when I look at orientation, I basically just don't give a written orientation. I have an orientation, online orientation. Again, here's the YouTube on here. I might copy this. You click on this one, and again, you go in here, and I introduce the subject matter.
Hello, I want to welcome you to Management 291, Strategic Management. This is going to be your online orientation.
I know it's 45 minutes,
Online.
and
Hello, I want
my cafe or the other school, they said, yes, you keep them for 20 minutes. Look, if I have an orientation in a classroom, it's usually an hour. All right. So this way, I understand 15 minutes. It just takes a longer time to do the uploading, downloading. Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, I may start using that. If you notice, I'm beginning to utilize that platform and see how that works. The other support with all Blackboard, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, I could have one-on-one meetings because I could create sessions here. So if the student wants to meet me online, I'm not at the main campus. This semester I was doing that. All my classes are online. So be as a contractor and adjunct instructor, it doesn't make sense for me to drive all the way. I don't to meet with a student. I said, hey, when I'm there, I'll meet with you if I have other classes. Otherwise, we do it this way. I give them the time, I give them the link. They could come in. We have a face-to-face discussion, and I could resolve any issues. I could show them the things. I could show them the grades. I could do everything else, and it's just a session between the students and I. I think that's a nice, strong one, like going meeting, but utilizing Blackboard, and then the student learns different technology, because technology in business, you have to know technology. I tell students, I know some students do not have a computer or anything at home, but Harper and the other school I teach at have excellent mega labs where you could come in there and you could do the same thing. I had one student that I had a meeting with in a virtual classroom, and he was in there, and I asked him, hey, where are you at? He says, I'm in the library, and he's got his headphones on. I can only talk quietly or I'll get in trouble. All right, so that's my support on here, and I think I covered everything else weekly. Let's just go look. I'm going to go into Blackboard here again, and I'll open up to see my marketing class, just so you understand that I do the same thing for the sports marketing class, fully online. All right. The other one, the Management 218, was a blended class. I have to have some interaction. I've taught that one fully online, but not with the new book. So I've been doing a blended one, so I have to update my recordings on that one. Okay. So you got check your grades. You always check the grades, weekly course materials, weekly discussions, weekly assignments, weekly quizzes, weekly journal. I make it easier for you, break it down by the week, and then here are my lectures again, my mind map. So if you look at my lectures, I have full lectures on the whole class, how to complete update profile in the classroom, view of orientation. This is my orientation again. Overview of my overview book with the mind map. I look at this one, just a quick overview. Again, if you notice, I give them an overview. They all have.
My name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to marketing.
All right. So you always have my face in there because this is. I want them to be familiar with showing themselves. Not only because in business it can't be just. Remember when you looked at the. What do you, for lack of a better word, communication model. You know what I mean? The most active communication face to face. The next one is through telephone or conversation. Email is the worst one. Even if you put the icons or the smiley cons, whatever the hell they're called, you still don't get that communication. You do improve on your writing. I tell students who take me online, you improve on your writing because you have no choice. You have to write. But now I want to bring in that facial, that interaction. And this is what I do with this. Be utilized. So when I do the videos, if I look at somebody's picture, I may not be able to recognize them in the classroom. They recognize me because they see my mannerism, they see my enthusiasm, everything else. Always to support the student. Okay. So if I'm looking at, and remember, this one also has, so they have all this, they have all the homework at the end of the time. I work at the journal, PowerPoints, late homework assignment. I know some people tell me don't give them late, they should learn time. I give them late, but I basically reduce it by up to 20% on late late homework. I want them to understand you pay a penalty. Same thing like if you pay late on your credit card, you pay that fine. You pay that fee. You're late here, I reduce it. And my exams are reduced. Usually I give them the regular time, but the time frame is reduced. It's not fair to other students. But I still want them to succeed. Remember, this is a community college I'm teaching at. I have to teach them those skills. Some of my peers say, no late points. You got to give it right on here. You don't give them late points. I don't know. I'm a manager. When I manage an individual, my job is not to fail them or to fire them. My job is to change your behavior. And some students, if I change your behavior by taking a penalty point and helping this, if they do it all the time late, then I said no. You know what I mean? But I give them that ability. I let them have extra credit. Extra credit, again, a support to give them that lifeline for those that need it. How do I give them extra credit? If you're in class or doing the discussions, then ask me for extra credit. If to help you out, because remember, we as instructors love our subject area. That's why we're teaching it. Students may not like it. Look, when I took biology, I barely passed biology. I couldn't understand the words. I can spell the words. I couldn't even pronounce the words. You know what I mean? So, but I needed that as a general discipline. So when I'm looking at individuals, that wasn't my discipline. Okay, but I passed it. I was happy with that. So I tell students, if this is discipline, you should be able to do better on that. But we have to help them, help them, and bring them in there. All right. Remember, I can't fire them all. I just want to change your behavior. Some I have to fail. Some I have to firework. But my job as a teacher or a facilitator or as or a manager, as I teach management, is to help them change your behavior and see that there is added value of learning this, and it helps them going forward. Not only do they learn the academic side, the terms, the concepts, but they also learn how it's applicable into business, into the real life. Like I say, marketing, management, you're basically a product selling yourself. Whether you're working for a company, you're there not because you're good looking like I am. Just kidding. They always chuckle. But you're there because because you're providing a service for that job that you're holding. All right, so that's it. I think I've covered everything else I wanted in this section. How I support the student. They got the grades. They can always see me. They can talk to me. I do a handout I mentioned before with the folders. Let me see. I think I got them in here someplace. Real quickly, I know I'm supposed to walk away. In the folders, again, how do I do support? The folders, they'll have the names on here, and this is one of my classes. I'm going further. The other names on here is the companies that they're researching, so I could focus in on there, and they'll have the names, how they write it on there, and we discuss it, and we'll talk about it, and this way I'm always interacting with the student, and by this way I give them support, because I'm not intimidated. I mean, that's just that person up there, come and talk to me, whatever you want. I understand some cultures, Hispanic cultures, or some Asian cultures, I have to make their first contact. They feel comfortable with me, they'll come and talk to me on the side. And most students do. And when I work them in group, they'll talk to me one-on-one because I'm working in a smaller group and I ask them specific questions. And, those who are shy, they feel a little more comfortable in a smaller group and they feel more comfortable with me. You have to build a relationship. That's where my marketing, my management is. I could be the autocratic manager, but I only do as much just to keep me off their back. But this way, if I make that relationship, build that relationship, always communicate with them, face to face, in a safe, controlled environment, they're more willing to say, Dr. George, I got a problem. I've got this. When I do the journals, they'll say, hey, this is a bad week. My mom got sick, or I had to work out. And I could respond to them face to face. I do water coolers, other things. Just give me any information. So I do the check and balance. I do the grades. I give them all the support. And most students do pretty well. Those who don't want to do the work, they'll drop out. All right? But majority, I have a fairly high success rate. You could always look up, rate my professors. I don't look at it. My daughter-in-law looks at it. And my grandson basically said he was teaching someplace, and they asked him, hey, he said, my grandpa, Jaja, this Polish, teaches, and he said, let me look him up. Oh, he's a pretty good instructor. He's got a pretty good rating. I don't look at that. I do look at the reviews from the students, and I look at them, and I go forward, what should I change? Every class is different. As an instructor, you can't be complacent. You have to adjust to your class, to your market. What worked in one class may bomb in may fall down in another one, doesn't work well. That's it. So that's my support, and this is the last section, and thank you for looking at this recording. Okay, I got 19 minutes. I'm doing good, okay? So my cafe says grading it. I'm under your 20-minute mark. And then my lectures, when they're over 20 minutes, it's looking in the class, they can't leave there. But here, the good thing on that, they could stop me in 15 minutes and pick up where they want. Some will go through it real quickly, look at the concept map. Others will go through the full lectures. The lectures on YouTube works out well because it could be an MP3. They could listen to them on phone. Some of them say that it's good for them to fall asleep. But I don't know. All right? Talk to you later. Thank you.